Hi there, Vasco Duarte here, your host. I wanted to share a story with you. You know how sometimes Agile just feels like following another checklist? When processes and frameworks feel more important than what we are trying to achieve, and sometimes even like handcuffs. I was talking to a customer of the Global Agile Summit, and he used a term that I kind of stuck in my mind. He said, "I have agile fatigue." And I've heard that a lot from people since then. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. So we started thinking, and at the Global Agile Summit, which is happening this May, we're bringing together practitioners who've actually done that, who've broken free from this, install the framework kind of mindset. We want to focus the summit on real-life, first-person stories of Agile succeeding that inspire you to action. We're talking real experiences, practical solutions, and of course, amazing insights from leaders like Gojko Adzic, who will be one of the keynote speakers, and Jürgen Apelo, who will be one of the keynote speakers as well. If you're ready to leave the Agile fatigue behind, just join us in Tallinn. The early bird tickets are now available at the globalagilesummit.com. And mark your calendars. We will have workshops on May 18th, that's a Sunday. And then the conference itself will happen on May 19th and 20th of 2025 in Tallinn, Estonia. So let's make Agile exciting again. And remember, go to globalagilesummit.com, that is, and get your early bird ticket now. It will only be available until early March, so grab it now. And now, on to the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday. This week we have with us Antti Horelli. Hey, Antti. Welcome back.
Hello, Vasco. Once again, nice to be here.
Absolutely. Great to have you. And today we're going to talk about success in a minute. But first, share with us, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
All right. In general, if you think about your recurring Scrum team retrospectives, I don't have a particular favorite. I think I just like to mix them, make them different, keep people kind of, alive in the situation, make them think. But if I have a retro about kind of some sort of longer project or maybe multiple sprints or something, then I like to use this timeline method. So we start the sprint by putting a timeline on the wall. From the start of the period we're looking at, it might be the start of the project, it might be something else, to where we are right now. Then we together put in the most influential happenings that have been there, and then we'll maybe brainstorm them with the whole group, put stickies up. First, like concrete happenings, deliveries, critical meetings, things like that. Then maybe even like phenomena, something more a bit fuzzy, but put those also in there, something people noticed happening about at this point, even though it wasn't like one certain moment in time or one concrete thing. Then also sometimes I've drawn like a feeling curve throughout the project, like draw a curve. Like here I was really happy, I was really enthusiastic, then everything went wrong and I was really frustrated, and you can kind of get the mood of the whole thing through that. So that would be maybe my one favorite.
Absolutely. Well, why do you think it's important to bring in that concept of the phenomena, as you called it? So like these fuzzier things that people kind of started noticing, maybe dynamics that were happening or whatever.
Well, I think that's the kind of things that are a bit more tricky to point at. You can't say the time, the critical thing, the moment that easily, but they really do affect what's happening. For example, the dynamics inside the team changed somehow, and that absolutely affects the work the team is doing. So you somehow have to tackle those as well. And maybe you can learn from that. Since it's a retrospective, next time maybe you can learn something from that. Do it better, prepare for it, or if it's something good, positive, then make sure it happens in the next project as well.
So in the old project management world that I come from, we used to call this early signals. Of
Mm.
course, in a retrospective, they might not be early anymore, depending on how often you are doing this type of having this type of discussion in the retrospective. But if you do it regularly enough, like referring to things that you can't really put your finger into, actually can be a very effective way to discover underlying dynamics that are not yet obvious, right? That hence the name weak signals. And I think it is great for us to be open to that and to somehow incorporate that into the retrospectives, because even though you can't describe exactly, you can point at something. And when more and more of those things start coming up, then you start to realize that, oh, actually, there is something bigger going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if in a retro you can say not just that, okay, this specific thing happened, but I have a feeling about this. I have a feeling like this, and that's really valuable.
Yeah. And this can, in the end, help us make better decisions, whether it is, like, for example, in the, was it the Tuesday episode, right? Like this, when you got the whole team together and things didn't really work out, like
Mm.
having this feelings discussion, not necessarily
Yeah.
feelings, but like intuitions, questions, we can bring that up in many different ways. It could have highlighted what was going on
Mm.
before it took a dynamic of its own.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. That was the retro, but of course, we're here to talk about success for Scrum Master. So, Antti, share with us, what does success mean for you as a Scrum Master?
Yeah. Really awesome question here. Um, I had a lot of tidbits, but now I try to formulate it somehow. I guess if you think about being a Scrum Master, working on the team level, uh, I like to aim for something called productive serenity. I'm not sure if this is a term. Maybe I just
I like the term, though.
yeah.
Explain that to us.
In Finnish it would be tuottava tyyneys, but it's this feeling like if you have the team team is working and you walk into the room like in the world where they're still in one room and there's a lot of stuff happening. It's normally very serene. It's hands on the keyboard, but then there's these small discussions happening, and then someone notices, okay, there's a problem here, and then they get together and solve that problem. Maybe it's things like the work process flows nicely. Outcomes come together. Value is delivered. People are excited about what they do, but they're not overstressed about what they do in the team. Um, the feeling of things just, in general, clicking. And when they don't click, because that, of course, happens, when there's a problem, then people can address it with kind of a serious calmness. Like we don't go into panic. We take it seriously, but we take it as a problem we need to solve, not as something to like make our blood pressure go through the roof. So I guess that would be the short version.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really like about this, how you describe it, productive serenity, it's
Mm.
that the implicit image, at least in my mind, of a lot of things happening in the background,
Mm.
but they don't surface as conflict, stress, rushing, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the team is able to kind of this kind of implies the team is able to self-organize to meet these things, kind of take care of them. If something comes up, a couple of people take care of it. And that's kind of okay. And then when something bigger comes up, then there's bigger discussion. The product owner goes to talk to higher management or whatever is necessary. And all that happens. Yeah. And also one side note of this is that everything, even if me as a Scrum Master is not there, if I'm sick for a week, this still continues. This is sustainable. It's kind of in the team. It's not something kind of someone has to prop up.
Yeah, there's this phrase from famous basketball coach John Wooden, who used to say to his players, "Be quick, but don't hurry." and I think the productive serenity that you described is something that feels the same, right? It's like you see a lot of things happening. You see movement, but you don't see people in a hurry.
Yes, there's no panic. There's no like running, like running and grimacing. It's like a positive. You might be running at some point, but it's a positive feeling, like you're getting good things done, not trying to survive bad things.
So you've described a couple of behaviors already, like, for example, most of the work happens with hands on keyboard, but people are getting together to discuss when there's problems to solve. What are some of the behaviors you want to see in the teams that are productively serene?
Yeah, I think a lot of small discussion is one thing. Like, and anyone can feel that if there's question, they throw it up, and then the correct people kind of get around to talk about it. So that's definitely one thing, and it's not up to any one person in the team to kind of pinpoint or observe what are the things, what are our problems, what are our big hurdles, what are the landmines we're running into. But it's kind of, it comes up from everyone as necessary, and people self-organize to take care of that. Also, well, okay, I guess that all ties into psychological safety. That's kind of maybe implied here as well. And maybe getting kind of everyone's brain engaged with everything that we're doing, or at least, well, not everything fully, but like in a good way. Like people collaborate on some level on everything, and then, but are also able to focus on the thing that they need to get done. So kind of the optimized teamwork, optimized communication inside the team.
Yeah, it's a set of paradoxes, right? It's like
it is.
People are working well alone, but then they come together when they need.
Yeah, and it's really it's difficult to quantify, and it very much does depend on the situation where the team is and all that. So once again, communication optimization, like we talked in one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah, I really like that image of like this, not necessarily antagonic ideas, but contrasting ideas, like working well alone, but then coming together. I think this is a great example, like the productive serenity, being quick but not hurrying. I think that having that in mind, like really finding the balance so that the work flows through the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great imagery and great metaphors. Thank you for sharing that with us, Antti.
Thank you. That's really something to aim for.
We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.